Most coin shops love to buy up most of what we bring, but are there some items where they draw the line and just won't work with you? We're going to talk about that and a lot more, so make sure you stay tuned. YouTube, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone for checking out the video today, and give a huge shout out to you all for being a part of the best damn community here on YouTube, without a doubt. Now, this little channel just keeps on growing because of your support, so thank you very much. Thank you. But today, we're going to take a look at some things that your local coin shop might not buy from you in the event you bring it to them. That's true. And yeah, some of it is silver. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and roll this thing.
Well, we're waiting.
Alright, so before we go over some of this stuff, I do want to state that all coin shop owners aren't created equal. And that means simply that where one might buy some of these items I'm getting ready to show you, well, another might not. They're all different in what they view as sellable items where they can make a profit, so just keep that in mind. The list I'm getting ready to give you is just a generalized list of things that, well, might potentially give you some trouble in a resale situation. Alright, let's start off with random lots of old or non-silver coins. And I've got plenty of these. Stuff like this painted Rhode Island quarter. Not a whole lot of appeal, really, except for maybe for someone from Rhode Island like myself. But you get all kinds of this stuff. Just random stuff. I mean, they're cool, but really, not much of a point in them when you think about it. Somebody might collect these and want them, though. But typically, you're going to find this stuff in a box off at the side at a bunch of dealers, and it's the kind of stuff they'd just rather get rid of or not buy at all. And more often than not, they'll give these things to the kids who come in with their parents into the shop. All right, number 2, foreign money or bills. I got a whole brick of these Venezuelan bolivars. Absolutely worthless. They're beautiful, but they are worthless. Millions of dollars here. Yeah, are they cool? Sure, for sure. Foreign currency is colorful, it's historical, it's eye-catching, it's well-designed, and worth absolutely nothing as a defunct currency. Now, there are going to be a few exceptions, like these Zimbabwe dollars I got here. Show you a couple of these. I mean, that's a novelty, right? $20 billion in Zimbabwe money. Absolutely worthless. They're cool. There's another one for $10 billion. Got a $5 billion here. And let's see, a $1 billion. And let's throw in a $50 billion just for good measure. So stuff like that, there may actually, because of the oddity of the amount of the denomination, they might be an exception. They're more of an oddity, and they're completely indicative of how badly that country's economy tanked with hyperinflation when the currency went to zero value. So, believe it or not, there might be a slight premium on stuff like the Zimbabwe dollars on eBay and other similar spots, but dealers typically aren't going to mess with them. Number 3, damaged bullion. We all know about these. Britannias are getting pretty famous for it. Take a look at old Chuck here. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And the earlier maples, of course, had the same problem. Milky maples. Not too bad on the reverse, but you can still see it there. We all know about this stuff. Some are still arguing. I don't know why, but some still argue that milk spots on bullion don't take away from the value. And if you're talking just silver content, they're right. But my argument to them is this. Find a coin shop that is going to give you spot plus a bit of premium if you try to sell these. Good luck. They're few and far between, and for good reason. Now, if you're at a coin shop trying to buy silver eagles and the dealer has just 2 left, one is in pristine condition, one is completely milked up, and the cost is exactly the same, let's say $30. Which eagle are you going to pick? Exactly. You're going to take the good one, like 99.999% of us are going to take the nice one. And this is exactly how dealers see damaged bullion. They know how we think, and we're going to buy the good stuff when we can. So they'll take this stuff from you probably right at spot price and maybe sell it to somebody for just over to make a little profit at best. But milked up bullion, other than their weight in silver, it's just not worth the time. Number 4, tokens or oddball commemorative coins. Stuff like this here. Just random medals and medallions and whatnot. I mean, to somebody from North Smithfield, Rhode Island, this would mean something. But typically, yeah, coin shops aren't going to want them. Unless there's a history behind them. So, yeah, dealers are generally going to shy away from these things for the most part. There may be that rare token that comes into the shop that has some historical value, and the dealer might bite at them, like this one. This is a USS Constitution round. Forget the year this was made, something like that, 1940 something. But this is actually made, it doesn't look like much, but this was actually struck from melted down nails from the original USS Constitution. So there's value to that. There's collectability. They may not buy it, but if they do, they know they can probably get rid of it to somebody. All right, number 5, ancients or uncertified quote-unquote shipwreck silver. You've got this sweet 1737 VOC coin, a little token. Just because the seller said it was shipwrecked doesn't mean it actually was. There's no accompanying certification to it. So while this is cool, there's no saying, but we do know it's an old coin. So that's pretty cool in and of itself. And you got this Roman Imperial stuff, which I tend to think is definitely real. About 100 to 250 AD, somewhere in there. And maybe some pirate coins. Hard to tell. But look, unless these things are, like I said, unless they're slabbed and certified, most dealers are going to stay away from them because they're highly faked. And, you know, it's just not worth the risk. Now, are there exceptions? Sure. Like this piece from the Alcazador. I mean, that's history. There's a bit of history encapsulated and certified. So this is something they would probably buy from you. I mean, this was on the shipwreck of the Alcazador. Very cool. A lot of history behind this coin. So unless it has significant value or historical value, they probably won't touch the stuff. Number 6, foreign silver. Now, the biggest problem with this stuff is liquidity. It has a tendency to sell slowly for a myriad reasons. Low silver content, unfamiliarity, etc. And they have a huge potential to kind of just sit in a dealer showcase for a bit of time before they get sold. Now, this stuff isn't like our 90% silver where it's actually desirable to pick up. They're going to appeal to a very niche audience. So, are there some big exceptions? Oh, yeah, better believe it. There are some foreign silver coins that'll always sell, always, and with a premium to boot. Just some examples. The Balboa, minted in Philadelphia for Panama. This is always going to sell with a premium. These are beautiful coins. I've got another Balboa here, for example. This is a 1973 limited edition proof. Awesome coin. So Balboas are a big one. Another one for good measure. You can tell I like Balboas. The Cuauhtemocs. These sell with no problem whatsoever from Mexico. Not a problem, and with a premium. These are probably 35 and up. They're huge coins. And one more example. This is the 50 francs from France. This is called the Hercules. And it's a beast too. This thing is a huge coin. But look at the artwork on this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful coin. So there are some exceptions. You know, that stuff I just showed you is going to sell in with a premium. And they do appeal to collectors. Now, personally, I love foreign silver. I've stacked over 200 ounces of it in just 2 years. But admittedly, they're not for everyone. All right, number 7 is custom pours. And you've got some great ones out there. This is Spokane's channel round. Silver cross. Nicely done. Got a button from SGT Stacking. Beautiful. And got a little bar from Patriotic Stacker here. Nice little stamp design. It's cool stuff. Cool stuff. Look, there are some fantastic custom silver pours out there. And even I've done a few pieces for an LCS to sell, but I'm nowhere near the quality that some of these guys put out. Not even close. The problem with custom pours is this. They appeal to a very niche audience. And that depends on what they even are. So if a dealer buys this stuff, they could be facing the potential issue of having to hold it for a long time before it sells, if it sells. But if it doesn't, the dealer might be faced with just turning it into the refiner for the silver weight alone, taking a potential loss on what he paid for it, initially anyway. So there's value to it. Even if it doesn't sell, you can always get it for the silver weight. But dealers are they're going to lean on more established silver artists like Reckless Metals, MK Bars, and whatnot. Those guys are established. They have an established name, and their products are more likely to sell based on that alone. There was a dealer at the last coin show that we went to who was selling custom pours from these guys, and he was having no problem with the folks buying them up. Some very cool stuff. All right, last but not least, other metals. And I'm not talking about silver, gold, platinum, palladium. I'm talking about your base metals. Copper, for example, whether it's pressed into a bar in its natural form, or even pressed into a design. Guys, it's just copper, and the premium that you're paying on this stuff is not worth it. And the dealers know this, and they're not going to buy it from you. You might see some copper rounds at a dealer, but other than that, he's probably not going to carry most of this stuff. Another example, which I love, bismuth. Absolutely love this stuff. And if you do this right under some heat, it makes some amazing crystals. But does your coin shop want it? No, they're not going to want that stuff. And then you got miscellaneous metals. A little lead bar. We got some, what do we have here? Some indium, which is kind of rare, actually. It's very soft metal, too. And we've got a little 1 ounce tin bar. Again, the coin shops aren't going to want this stuff, especially this. Get some aluminum shot. It's about useless. But, I mean, what are they going to do with this stuff here? They can't do anything with it. And I only buy it because I like to have some different stuff, different metals. And I have a few of these. I'm going to be melting these down to make crystals out of them. It's pretty good stuff. But copper, it's the most inefficient way to stack copper because of the value. I mean, it's not... these are selling for $2, $3 a piece, just the way they are. It's not worth it. You can get a pound of copper for that. So it's really just not worth it. And the coin shops agree with that assessment. All right, I'm going to start closing this video out. But before I do, I gave a shout out to my favorite coin shop owner, Lou at Raleigh Gold Coin Dealers. And I had a couple of questions for him. Here's what he had to say about things he wouldn't buy. One thing that would make him not buy is if the seller appears to have stolen items. And there are a few giveaways on this. Might be nervous, won't make eye contact, etc., etc. They might claim to be a stacker, but they have zero knowledge about what they're selling. Now, this could legitimately be someone who inherited silver from a relative, but again, it's just kind of a feeling the LCS owner might get during the exploratory conversation. Next, he'll consider, emphasis on the word consider, 40% silver, like the 65 to 70 Kennedy halves. And war nickels with their 35% silver content. I mean, those nickels have far more copper and manganese in them than silver, but it is possible he'll turn those away if he already has a good amount of that stuff on hand. Now, Lou did tell me he typically likes to stay around the 80% silver threshold, and there's good reason for that. Refiners don't care for war nickels and 40% Kennedys. There's just too much waste, and for most refiners, anything under 80% silver, they're not likely going to be interested. Which kind of corroborates Lou's point about keeping it at that 80% minimum when he buys from sellers. Many shops will buy this stuff for under spot, with the exception of the 1970 40% Kennedys, which, correct me if I'm wrong, if I recall, they were only found in mint sets and proof sets, and not for circulation. They're just more scarce than the 65 to 69 Kennedys, so they may have a bit of premium on them. And yes, I'll go on record as to recognizing that there are a large number of stackers who love their 40%. But a couple of examples of stuff they don't want. This is a Mexican peso. Nice coin. 10% silver. Just not worth it. And here's another one. These were back in the 70s and 80s. These Canadian commemoratives. These silver dollar commemoratives. Beautiful presentation, right? Looks great. The coin itself, absolutely beautiful. Look at that finish. Look at the design and the detail. Of course, you know what's on the other side, but you'd think anybody would love to have this stuff. But here's the problem: they're 50% silver, so that knocks them out of a lot of people's wheelhouse. Now, are they collectible? Yeah, they're absolutely collectible. I went and got every last one of them from the 70s and 80s. So, only because I really like the design. I wasn't really concerned about the silver content. But those are some of the things that they just won't buy in. That's a couple of things that Lou said he'd probably avoid as well. All right, there you have it. So we can see that there are quite a few things that coin shops might say no to when it comes to you selling it to them. And again, let me reiterate that all shop owners are different. One might embrace some of these things that we went over today, and others might not give them so much as a sniff. Anyway, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below and let me know what you think. You know I love going through them, so make sure you sound off. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And if you made it this far, well, kudos to you. I'll definitely catch up with you in the next episode, but in the meantime, you know what's up.
What do you want to do with your life?
Damn right. Get stacked. Stay safe and be well, everyone. I'll see you next week, and I am out of here. Peace, folks.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.